Right. Good evening, Lamai. So we are going to start the second paper. That means paper number 4, the part B. Right. In here there are two questions that I have given. First one from the economic development, and second one is from the international trade. So we'll start from the economic development question. Initially, I was not prepared to do this question, but I thought it is better to conduct the both questions instead of doing one. Right. Let's start the first one. So here it is answer following all the questions. Right. First one. Distinguish between economic growth and economic development. As we all know, economic growth and economic development are two parts, two things, right? Which one is the broad one and which one is the narrow one? Actually, comparatively, economic growth is less than the economic development. That means economic growth is narrow concept, while economic development is the broad concept. Right here, economic growth mainly concern about quantitative factors such as increase in or changes in real GDP, right? But in economic development, it concerns about both quantitative factors such as GDP and qualitative factors as well, right? So economic growth is little bit narrow concept with compared to economic development. We'll see economic growth and economic development. What is the economic growth? It means increase in real national income or national output throughout a period. Within a certain period, right? And economic development, what the development means, the improvement of the quality of life, not only real GDP, it concerns about quality of life as well as living standards. So economic development concerned qualitative factors more than quantitative factors, right? So next one, production capacity will increase under economic growth. As you can see, as you know, economic growth can be illustrated throughout a PPC. It was like this. Production capacity would be increased in the long term, right? So that is we identified as economic growth. And economic development, it is a kind of structural changes, right? It is a transformation process about the economy. It is not only increasing in production capacity, it is but also transformation process about the economy, right? So that's the second difference that we can identify. What's the next one? As I told you, economic growth is concerned about only quantitative factors, and economic development, it also considered qualitative factors as well. Right, next one. As I told you, economic growth is comparatively narrow concept and economic development is the broad concept, right? So these are the difference between economic growth and economic development. It's better to identify that. That's why I'm doing these questions. Otherwise, I was going to skip this question. Right? You can write down. Next one. Next question. What are the benefits of economic growth? As we all know, economic growth will increase the income level of the economy, right? Income level, that means real GDP increase. That means income level of the country will increase. Obviously, that would be happen. Rather than that, what are the other changes? Due to higher income, government could be able to collect more tax, and government finance also strength, right? Government finance can be increased. Why? Because people have higher income. Higher income leads to increased taxation. Increased taxation means government income would be increased, and it will enhance the opportunity for strength government finance, right? And other than that, living standard would be increased, and also we'll see higher standard of living, right? Living standard would be increased. Next one, increase in employment level, that would be happen, right? When economic growth, the employment level also increased. Why? Because there are now more new businesses, and new business need new employers. Since employment would be increased while unemployment decrease. Next one, strengthen government finance due to higher tax income, right? As I told you, when there is higher real GDP, government tax also would be increased. And then increase in gross investment. Why? Because investors have now positive mind about the economy, because economy is growing and stabilizing. Economic recessions are eliminating from the economy. So actually it is a good environment for investors. Then they will encourage to invest more and more, since increase in gross investments as well as increasing investment due to economic stability, and long-term investment also increased, right? Those are the main advantages or benefits under the that we can see under the economic growth. What are those? First one, higher standard of living, increase in employment level, increase in that means strength government finance due to higher tax income, increase in gross investment, and also positive mind would enhance the investment level of the economy. That would be happen, right? So number 3, the question is, what is mean by sustainable development, right? What is mean by sustainable development? Actually, sustainable development means that there's an economic development, but it does not harm or it does not damage to future generations. Yes, future generations to consumption of resources. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාලගේ future generation එකේ resource level එකට කිසිදු impact එකක් damage එකක් නොකර අපි economic development එක කරන එක තමයි sustainable development කියන්නේ. අපි බලමු, sustainable development is development that meets the need of present, right? Meet the need of present generation can meet their needs while not compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, right? So present generation should have the ability to enhance or to meet their needs, right? But need to keep in mind, should not be compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs, right? It should not be harm or damage to future generations resources, right? We need to keep certain amount of resources for future generations as well, otherwise it is not a sustainable development, right? Under sustainable development, actually we can see three things. What are those? First one, environment, right? Second one, society, and third one would be what? Economic. All these three aspects should be there under sustainable development. So sustainable development would be in this area. Why? Because all the three are meet under this area, right? So it can be seen in here, environment and social and also economic, all the three aspects would meet at this. I think you can't see that. Sustainable development, right? That is the meaning of sustainable development, and there are three aspects, that is economic development, social development, and environmental protection, right? If you want, you can write down those three as well. Economic development, number one. Number two, social development, number three. So number one here, economic development, social development, and environmental protection. Right? Those are the three aspects that we can identify under economic sustainable development, not economic development, right? I think it is clear for you. You can go through again and again until you get understand the question and answer, right? Next one. Question number 4. Mention strengths and weakness of Human Development Index. Actually, I mentioned here only weaknesses. I didn't see that part, strength, right? So anyway, I'll discuss weaknesses and we'll discuss the strength of HDI later, right? What is Human Development Index? It is an index that to identify about the development or the structural changes of human under certain area, right? Here we can see few disadvantages or weaknesses. What are those? First one, per capita income. Here we concern only per capita income as a quantitative measurement. 1 minute. Right, first one, per capita income is not good measurement of household to identify, right? Per capita income is not good measurement to identify the distribution of household wealth. Identify the distribution of wealth. That's it, right? It is not good measurement to identify distribution of wealth. So these things are you just need to learn by heart, right? And you can make a logic එකක් නෑනේ. මේවා කෙලින්ම අපි කටපාඩම් කරන්න ඕන දේවල්, right? Per capita income is not good measurement to identify the distribution of wealth. Next one, it does not reflect achievement of people's life, right? Achievement හැම දෙයක්ම පෙන්වන්නේ නැහැ. මොකෙන්ද? Throughout human development index again, right? Changes of mean years of schooling, right? Here there are two more variables that we use: mean years of schooling and life expectancy, right? Those happens very slowly, since it is not suitable to measure short-term changes in HDI. Short-term human development එක identify කරගන්න මේ human development index එක suitable නෑ. Why? Because it use the mean years of schooling and life expectancy. Those variables are changes very slowly. Due to that, we cannot identify much change in HDI according to in short term, right? So short term changes cannot be identified throughout HDI, Human Development Index, due to this reason, right? Next one, it doesn't concern about the main aspects such as death rate. It doesn't mention about death rate and gender equality, poverty and literacy rate, since it is not much suitable to identify the development changes of human life, right? Since according to these factors, Human Development Index would not be suitable. Oh, these are the weaknesses of HDI, right? Next one, last question of first question. That means last part of the first question. Why do you consider increasing of aging population as a burden towards the economy? Increasing aging population mean actually dependent ratio would be increased, right? Dependent ratio would be increased. Since dependency ratio increased, right? What happened? Government have to incur more health and more health cost, right? More health cost need to incur, and also government needs to government need to provide pension for them, since pension also increase. Under national accounting, pension we identified as unilateral transfers which does not reflect any productive activities, right? So this is not productive, but still need to be made because of the aging population, more health cost. And due to these two elements, right, due to these are actually in Sri Lanka, these are provided by government. So government expenditure would be increased. To cover up that government expenditure, a government expenditure එක cover කරගන්න government එකට සිද්ධ වෙනවා taxation වැඩි කරන්න. Due to that taxation, because government need to increase the income, then taxation need to be increased, since what happened? That tax burden on economic active population, that means labor force, actually employment population or employed population has to bear that cost. Employed population has to bear that cost, right? So these are the actually cons under aging population as a burden towards the economy. But whatever happened, that we have to take care about aging population because they have worked in past years. Now they are resting. With the technology or with the improvement of science technology, the aging gap would be, aging population is increasing, right? Death rate would be decreasing. Due to that, actually we need to take care of themselves. But here the question has asked what are the burden towards the economy due to aging populations. That's why I mentioned these things. නැත්තම් ළමයි මේ වයසට ගියා කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ බර්ඩන් එකක් ඒගොල්ලන්ව අතෑරලා දානවා කියන එක නෙමෙයි මෙතනින් අදහස් වෙන්නේ. Still they are burden towards the economy, but we have to take care of them because one day we are going to participate that aging population. අපිත් කවදා හරි වයසට යනවා, and that on that day we would be burden to economy as well, right? So this is what gives you comes back scene එකක් තියෙන්නේ. So this is only for this question, right? First one, increase in pension funds and unilateral transfers which considered as non-productive according to SNA 2008, that means national accounting. Increase tax of economically active population due to cover up that government expenditure, pension and healthcare expenditures. Increase in cost of healthcare. Increase in dependency ratio. Yes, that's it. So you can write down these facts why aging population would become burden towards the economy. Right, next one. Here we go to the question number 2, international trade. First one, what reasons affect for country enter to international trade? Here, why a country needs to enter international trade? Because of advantages under the international trade. So what are the advantages, right? What are the advantages to involve in international trade for a country? First one, right here, you need to identify advantages of the international trade. First one, can be utilized resource efficiently. You would have the capacity to utilize all the available resources, because if there is excess, you can send them to supply them to international market. So that would be a good opportunity to utilize all available resources efficiently. Next one, can consume a point beyond its production possibility. Actually, we identify as a main advantage of the international trade, we can consume a point more than its production possibility curves, right? It is impossible under self-sufficient economy, because in self-sufficient economy, production possibility would be the consumption possibility as well. But here, under international trade, we would have the ability to increase or consume more than what we produce, right? Next one, can consume product which cannot produce domestically, right? We cannot produce domestically. We cannot produce Apple phones. Actually, we can't produce anything domestically, right? Because if you consider about your environment, 90% of them are imported, right? This panel is imported, and this t-shirt also imported, and this mic made in China, this also made in China, and this pen also made in China, this remote also made in China, everything. Pen drive is made in China, laptop, TV, and all the cameras are made in China. Fans, everything. AC machine, everything has made in China. So actually, that's a problem, right? That's a kind of our in the Sri Lanka is kind of highly dependent on imports, right? Anyway, can consume product which cannot produce domestically. Next one, able to consume product at a lower cost than producing it domestically, right? If why we can't produce that? Why we can't produce needles domestically? We have the resources. Needle එකක් ඉදි කට්ටක් හදන්න බැරි කමක් නැහැ. But it is highly cost, right? The cost would become more than import, right? Since actually production firms are not producing it domestically, because when the cost is higher, price also higher. But import price is very cheaper, since people or consumers tend to purchase more imported good rather than produce domestic, rather than purchasing domestic goods. Why? Because it is highly cost. Highly cost means highly price, right? Since we can import, we have the ability to import at very cheap price. Next one, factor abundance between country, right? Factor abundance between countries, that would become also as a reason to international trade. Why? Because actually we don't have crude oil, we have to import crude oil from Russia and Middle East countries. Otherwise, we don't have petrol, diesel to proceed the transformation. That would become a problem. Right. Next one, difference in consumer rates and preferences. Consumer taste and preferences. Right. That means in Sri Lanka, that we are not highly concerning about to drink quality tea, right? අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් quality tea එකක් අපි බොන්නේ නැහැ. අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔය ලාවුජි හරි මොනවා හරි ඒ අපේ මාකට් එකේ තියෙන අපි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට සිලෝන් ටී එකක් අරගෙන අපි කන්සියුම් කරන්නේ නැහනේ. හරිද? එතකොට ඇත්තටම මේ ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු බොන්නේ මේ quality tea එක නෙමෙයි. Right? Because all the quality products, Ceylon tea product under the Ceylon tea brand, they will export it to countries which have highly tasted, right? That means we export our all quality products to United States of America, because USA and also England people would like to consume tea. ඒගොල්ලෝ අර quality තේ එකක් බොන්න කැමති. හරිද? අපි අකමැති බව නෙමෙයි, අපි එච්චර මුදලක් ගෙවලා ටී එකක් ගන්න පෙළඹෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම ඕනනම් ඒවට shops නුත් තියෙනවා, but demand is less actually. Right? එතකොට ඇමරිකාවේ ඉංග්ලන්ඩ් වල ඉන්න අය වැඩි ගාණක් ගෙවලා තේ එකක් බොන්න කැමති, හොඳ තේ එකක්. එහෙනම් එයාලගේ consumer taste එක නිසා that අපිට හම්බෙනවා chance එක මොනවාද? export කරන්න. That we would have the ability to export our quality tea product to United States and UK. Due to that, consumer difference in consumer taste and preference would enhance the international trade. Next one. If you want, you can write down those things. Right. Next one. As a next question, explain the change of export structure in Sri Lanka from 1977 till now. Now means they're asking for you guys 2020, right? 2020 central bank report again. So you need to compare 1977 and 2020. We'll see. Here, can't you see? Wait, I need to. Right. Here, export category in 1977. In 1977, agriculture export was the largest contributed was agriculture export. It is numerically 79%. 79% from agriculture exports, and now agriculture exports has been reduced up to 23.3%. So you can write it down. What they are asking, explain the change in export structure in Sri Lanka from 1977 to now. That means 2020. So here you can write down it. In 1977, the highest contributed exports were agriculture, amounting 79%. But today, in 2000, according to 2020 CBSL report, it has declined up to 23.3, down to 23.3% from the exports, right? And industrial exports. Industrial was 14%. Industrial was 14% in 1977. And today it is the large component of export or largest component of exports, amounting 76.4%, right? So it has, industrial export has increased 14% to 76.4. Write it down. Industrial exports has increased 14% from 14% to 76.4 in 2020. Right, in 2020 it has increased. And mineral export, that we have 5% of mineral exports in 1977, now it has been declined to 0.2% in 2020. Right, write it down. The mineral exports in 1977 it was 5%, and today it has declined to 0.2%. Right, so here, as we can see, increase, or not increase, it is decrease in agriculture exports with compared to 1977. In 2020, because it was the largest contribution export under in 1977. 1977 amounting 79%, right? And industrial increased from 14% to 76.4, and mineral also decline. Two declines and one incremental. So you can write down this, right? Make a lamai podak විස්තර කරලා ලියන්න. මෙන්න මේක මේ වගුව ඇඳ ගන්න this then you can explain the column. ඒක ඉතින් මහා දෙයක් නෑ. In 1977 agriculture was 79, it was the large component of export industry, and now in 2020 it has reduced to 23.3%. ඒ වගේ තුනම ලියන්න, right? Decline from 5% to 0.2%. Right, next one. Main export, T has missing. Main export category. In 1977, main export category, main export good was tea, amounting 53%. And now in textiles and garment it has been right. In 1977 tea was the main export good, and today it has been reduced to 11.3. Write it down. In 1977 main export income was generated through tea exports, amounting 53%. But today, in 2020, it has reduced up to 11.3%. And in 1977, textiles and garments were only 2% exports. But today, the large element is textile and garment, amounting 44%, right? Amounting 44%, right? Those things you need to identify, then you can have all 4 marks. 4 marks. Actually, this is enough for the 4 marks, that you have the data and you have the explanation. Just express the verbal answer. That's enough. Verbal, not verbal, actually it is written answer. You have to write down the sentences, otherwise putting this table is not enough, right? Table එක දාලා ඒක එකින් එක explain කරන්න, right? As example, tea was the major element in 1977, amounting 53%. Today in 2020 it has reduced up to 11.3%. And textile and garments, it was 2% at 1977, amounting very small export income, but today it is the largest contribution, 44% from the export income. Right, these values represent percentage of export income, right? Okay, I think you have finished with the questions. We'll move to next one. If you want more time, you can pause the video and write down again. Right, next. Number 3. Explain the exchange rate depreciation with an appropriate diagram. Right. Depreciation of exchange rate. Exchange rate depreciation. Exchange rate depreciation can be happen in free floating exchange rate mark. Free floating exchange rate system. Under free floating exchange rate system, will draw direct and indirect both. Here depreciation can be happening free floating exchange rate system. In dollar market, foreign exchange, in foreign exchange market, අපි ගමු direct නම් direct method එකට අනුව according to direct method, what is direct mean? Direct කියන්නේ අපි දැන්ට පාවිච්චි කරන එක. So it means one foreign currency value of in terms of domestic currency. So that means $1 in rupees or LKR. $1 in LKR. And here dollar quantity, that means quantity of foreign exchange. Here we use foreign exchange as the dollar, right? අපිට ඒක පුරුදු නිසා අපි ඒක ගන්නවා. නැත්නම් whatever, otherwise whatever foreign currency you can take in here, right? Because they have not expressed that dollar appreciation or rupee depreciation, just the foreign exchange rate depreciation. So you can use whatever foreign currency you want, but I took here dollar, and this is direct method. So we need to mention dollar values and dollar quantities. So here demand for dollar, here supply of dollar, right? That is the direct method. Then I'm going to present both direct and indirect, then you can identify the difference at once. So here indirect, here direct, here indirect. Indirect mean 1 rupee, one domestic currency in terms of foreign currency, 1 LKR in dollars, right? Because here we need to put demand of rupee and supply of rupee. Here demand of rupee, D LKR. Here supply LKR. Right, here supply LKR. And here 1 LKR in dollars, because here LKR rupees are in the price of rupee, need to mention by dollars. Here price of dollar need to mention by rupees. Right? මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි. හරිද? මෙතන තියෙන්නේ rupee demand එක. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ rupee supply එක. එතකොට මේ තියෙන්නේ rupee එකක price එක, rupee එකක price එක rupee වලින් දෙන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. Then we need to use foreign currency. Then 1 LKR in dollars. That is the indirect method. Right? Here, what? Here quantity, rupee quantity, LKR quantity or quantity LKR. Right? LKR quantity. Here dollar quantity. Right? Now this is the initial things you need to identify. And now what happened? Explain exchange rate depreciation. Exchange rate depreciation කියන්නේ ළමයි foreign exchange rate එක depreciate වෙනවා. Because why? Because high demand for foreign currency. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන foreign exchange depreciate වෙනවා කියන්නේ rupee එක depreciate වෙන පැත්ත තමයි ඔයා කියන්නේ. හරිද? free floating එකේ මම මේක මකන්නම්. free floating එකේ rupee එක depreciate වෙන විදිය. Rupee depreciation. Rupee can be depreciate. මේ දැන් වර්තමානයේ ඇති වෙලා තියෙන තත්ත්වෙ මේක ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ විභාගෙදී අහන්න පුළුවන්, right? Because this is a contemporary questions, right? So here rupee can be depreciate due to increase in demand for foreign currency. එහෙනම් මෙතනදී අපි පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ ඩොලර් එක appreciate වෙන පැත්ත. හරිද? Foreign exchange rate depreciate. නැත්නම් exchange rate depreciate means foreign currency appreciate while domestic currency depreciate. So here rupee depreciation or dollar appreciation. Right? Both can be identified in same way. Right? So how to identify rupee depreciation in direct method? We have to appreciate dollar. We'll appreciate dollar. Then we dollar can be appreciate or rupee may depreciate when dollar demand increase. ළමයි ඕනම දෙයක demand එක වැඩි වුණාම ඒ demand එක වැඩි වෙන එක appreciate වෙනවා. එතකොට මෙතන අපි ගන්න ඕනේ rupee depreciation or dollar appreciation දෙකෙන්ම පෙන්වන්නේ එක. හරිද? ඒ නිසා මෙතන අපි dollar appreciation එක පෙන්නුවොත් it represent automatically rupee depreciation. අපි මෙතන දාමු value එක. දැන්ට තියෙන value එක. Q1 and here let's take 300, right? Make a 350 370 with a යනවා. But anyway we'll take 300 and here මෙතන ළමයි එහෙනම් ඒක කොහොමද ඒකම අපි direct එකෙන් indirect එකෙන් පෙන්නන්නේ. මෙතන Q1 මේක 1 divide by 300. එතකොට මේ තියෙන්නේ එක LKR 1 LKR would be equal to 1 divide by 300 rupee, right? 1 divided by 300. Here 1 divided by $300, right? Dollars, because here 1 LKR in dollars. In terms of dollar, 1 rupee equal to 1 divided by 300 amount. And here $1 is equal to 300 LKR, right? That's the difference, right? Now what happens? Right, now what happens? Demand for dollar would be increased, then dollar price may increase while rupee price would be decreased. On dollar demand එක වැඩි වුණා, right? Dollar demand previously D1, it was now D2, also dollar demand. හරිද? demand එක වැඩි වුණා. අන්න dollar has appreciated. dollar appreciate වෙලා තියෙනවා බලන්න. කලින් තිබ්බේ 300යි. දැන් අපි හිතමු 350 වුණා. එතන 400 ගමුද වැඩි ලේසිනේ. දැන් 400යි. Now it has become 400. $1 equal 400, and here is the Q2 quantity, right? So now what happened in the dollar market? Foreign exchange market, dollar demand has increased. Due to that increased dollar demand, dollar value become appreciated while rupee value become depreciated. So it leads to exchange rate depreciation. That means rupee depreciation, right? Now what happened in rupee? That means indirectly, same thing we can identify indirectly, right? කොහොමද එක පෙන්නන්නේ? 1 divided by 300 අපි කෙලින්ම value එක දාමුද? It's better නේ. 1 divided by 300 would be equal to මේක එතකොට අපි මේක කළේ, right? ඔන්න dollar demand එක අපි මේකේ value එකක් දාමු dollar වලින්. එතකොට value එක එනවා 1 divided by 300 ගත්තම 0.333. 0.33. I think so. No, 0.003. Yes, 0.003. Or we can represent it as 1 divided by 300. Right, both are same. And now when ළමයි මේ දෙකම ඔයාලා පෙන්වන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. හොඳේ, මම මේ ඔයාලට දෙකම එකපාර පැහැදිලි කරනවා because it is more convenience to you guys. ඔයාලට මේක identify කරගන්න ලේසි නිසා. හරිද? නැත්නම් මෙතන ඉරක් තියෙනවා. ඔයාලට කැමති එකක් විතරක් mention කරන්න පුළුවන්. right, දැන් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මෙයාගේ ඩොලර් එකේ ඩිමාන්ඩ් එකනේ වැඩි උනේ. ඩොලර් එකේ ඩිමාන්ඩ් එක වැඩි වුණා නම් රුපිය එකේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? දැන් ඔයා හිතන්න ඩොලර් එකේ ඩිමාන්ඩ් එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ අපි මොනවා හරි ඉම්පෝර්ට්ස් නිසා කියලා. ඔන්න අපිට ඉම්පෝර්ට්ස් ඕනේ. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ඉම්පෝර්ට්ස් ඕනේ. We need more and more imports. Since we have to purchase dollar before we purchase imports. ඇයි අපි imports වලට payment එක කරන්න ඕනේ මොනයින්ද ඩොලර් වලින්. හරිද? imports වලට payment එක කරන්න ඕනේ ඩොලර් වලින් නම් we need to demand more dollars, then we can purchase more imports, right? That's why this demand curve shift rightward demand එක වැඩි උනේ ඒකයි ළමයි. ඇයි? අපි foreign exchange market එකේ වැඩිපුර demand කරනවා dollars වලට. හැබැයි අපි ඒ dollars demand කරද්දී අපිට නිකන් demand කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. We have to pay a price. We have to pay a price. මොනවෙන්ද අපිට price එක ගෙවන්න වෙන්නේ? What do we have? අපිට තියෙන්නේ රුපියල්. Then we have to increase supply in rupee and then demand dollars. හරිද? පොඩ්ඩක් ඒක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. අපේ අතේ තියෙන්නේ රුපියල්නේ. So we have to pay the price of dollar by rupees. අපිට රුපියල් දාන්න වෙනවා. රුපියල් දෙන්න වෙනවා මාකට් එකේ. රුපියල් දීලා ඩොලර්ස් ගන්නේ. එහෙනම් රුපියල් දීලා ඩොලර්ස් ගනිද්දී රුපියල් supply එක වැඩි වෙනවා. So the LKR supply will increase and rupee dollar demand එක වැඩි වෙනවා. ඇයි අපි demand කරන්නේ ඩොලර්? අපෙන් අහනවා මොනවද ඔයා ගාව තියෙන්නේ මේ ඔයා ඩොලර් ගන්න නම් මොනවද ඔයා දාන්නේ මාකට් එකට? අපි කියනවා රුපියල් දෙන්න. එහෙනම් රුපියල් supply එක foreign exchange market එකේ රුපියල් supply එක වැඩි වෙන ගමන් තමයි ඩොලර් demand එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ. මෙතන අපි පෙන්නුවා ඩොලර් වලට වෙන බලපෑම because this is direct market. මේක directly නේ අපි පෙන්නුවේ. එතකොට ඒකෙදි foreign exchange එක නැත්තම් ඩොලර් වලට තියෙන demand එක වැඩි වුණා. එතකොට අපි rupee supply එක පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් අපිට මේ පැත්තෙන් because this is in terms of 1 rupee in terms of dollar. එතකොට මෙතන තියෙන්නේ 1 rupee එකක. මෙතන තියෙන්නේ rupee demand එක rupee supply එක. එහෙනම් ඔයා මෙතනින් ඩිමාන්ඩ් කරේ ඩොලර්ස් නම් ඒ ඩොලර්ස් ඩිමාන්ඩ් කරන්න ඔයා රුපියල් මාකට් එකට දාන්න වෙනවා. එහෙනම් රුපී සප්ලයි එක මොකද වෙන්නේ? වැඩි වෙනවා. රුපී සප්ලයි increase at the same time when you demand dollars. When demand dollar, that means when demand increase for dollar, then at same time rupee supply also increased. Then rupee become depreciated. රුපිය එකේ කලින් වැලියු එක තිබ්බේ 1 බෙදීම 300. Then now it is 1 divided by 400. 1 බෙදීම 400. Right? 1 divided by 400. And what is the exact value when 1 divided by 400? It is 0.0025. 0.0025. 0.0025. Right? Can't see me.